What's up, trolls? Wow, what a start of the year. We almost lost Hawkeye. We almost lost DH, but thankfully we got some really good news on both of them, right? Hawkeye, he's out of the danger zone. He just celebrated his birthday. DH, they took the breathing tube out. He's already he's already in the team meetings via Zoom. Obviously, he's not over there present, but hey, at least we know that he's out of the danger zone as well, even though they're still watching him at the Niners. Seed number two, baby. And the Packers, they just lost to the Lions, who had nothing to lose. So, yes, it's going to be a classic. The Seagulls before, versus the Niners. And it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, a lot of things happened this weekend. A lot of things happened last week. And, we got through it. I did hear some, some things that were of a little bit of concern. Um, and like I said before, I think 2023 is really it's really set to be an interesting year, right? We're seeing a lot of different things from networks like the NFL now actually concentrating on their athletes and making us at least trying to pretend to be more interested on the players than they are on the money. Obviously, they're still a business. They're a huge corporation. They're an entertainment business, so they still have to go on and they still have to continue with those games because they're here to make money. But it was nice to see the rest of the nation and every or almost every sportscaster um, repeat the same message and have the same feelings as far as DH goes, right? Because that's what we care about. We care about his health. Obviously, yes, there was a couple of people that seem to not really be interested on his health, and they think that the game is more important. But fuck them, you know. We don't need them. And yeah, if I forgot to give you a trigger warning, well, I might say a couple things that are a little bit offensive um, to you or others. I sometimes will have my children with me. I don't have them right now, so you might hear a little bit more of those things. And this is mostly language. So that's your trigger warning. Beware. Rants. What are we going to rant about? This damn weather. Homie, what's up with California just getting beat to shreds with all this rain? I get it. I get it. We need it. But do we really need that much all at once? I live over in Yuba County, and I think we did pretty good. The last big storm that we had, our street flooded like crazy, and this time it didn't. So that was nice. And if it did, well, we were out of town. I do work Lyft, so I have to. I go to the Bay Area, to the San Francisco Bay, to drive during the weekends because that's where the real money is. And unfortunately, like most of you out there, I need the money, so I gotta have two jobs. I do my pest control during the week, which was hell. Like just going out there, pest control. We're kind of like um, we're like the post office, right? Water, snow, hail. We go out there and we try to put some things out for the pest. Specifically, right now we're concentrating on snails and slugs and ants that are going to be trying to enter your house as the water starts to come down a little bit. So we got to put down some grains and we spray your eaves and things of that obviously nobody cares about. Also, mice are big, so if I didn't say it before, yeah, work in pest control. If you have any questions on that, I'm happy to help you share some of the knowledge that I have. But yeah, man, we just got a report that there's over 340,000, I believe it was. I could be wrong because, as I keep saying, I'm kind of an idiot, and sometimes I just talk without thinking. Let me check real quick. Ba-ba-bum. It's PG&E and SMUD. Yeah, it's 340,000. Holy crap, I knew that. That's awesome. So for once, I wasn't wrong. Yeah, it's over 340,000 customers in Sacramento and in Yuba County, in Sutter County. Yuba City and Yuba City is Sutter County, and Marysville is Yuba County. So between SMUD and PG&E, 340,000 people that don't have power. I'm one of the lucky ones here in Yuba County that actually does have electricity, and I'm very, very extremely grateful for that. Yeah, the levees broke over in Sacramento, and a lot of places are still flooded. I was I was fortunate enough to not have to go to any of those flooded areas last week during my route. I would have liked to see it, but also I don't want to get stuck. But I did drive in San Francisco last night, and let me tell you, that was not a lot of fun. I drive a little 2016 Kia Soul, and yeah, and that little thing, man, when you have 30, 40 mile an hour winds and it's raining sideways, you feel it, and you know you're clenching and you're gripping that seat with everything you got. It was a little scary, but made a little bit of money. So I'm grateful for that. I know there's a lot of people out there right now that are struggling and may not be as fortunate as I am to have a vehicle that allows me to get a little bit more of what I need to supply my family with what they need. I do understand that eggs, are through the roof right now, and that is ridiculous. But what are you going to do? We have money to help other nations. We just don't have money to help our own, which is also a little ridiculous. But it is what it is. In we live where we live, and we gotta just make it happen. Um, Aside from that, I was listening to while I was working, I was listening to this podcast by you probably know them, the fighter and the kid, Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen, and one of their guests was Chet Hanks. And if you don't know who Chet Hanks is, by the last name, well, Chet Hanks is the son of Tom Hanks, and he was also, the founder of White Boys Summer. And apparently, Chet had a little bit of an addiction with cocaine and alcohol, and well, Chet had to have a little help, like most of us do sometimes, because we like to indulge a little too much in things that make us feel um, different. They help us to forget the fact that we're broke and have several jobs, or they help us forget about whatever we need to forget about. And Chet, he seems like a nice guy, but he, like I keep saying, some of these guys that they want to help the world, and some of these guys that we choose to try to relate to. Apparently, Chet had to go to rehab, right? And he was paired up with with this with this therapist, and he's one of the best therapists out there. And I'm back. So as I was saying, Chet got hooked up with a mentor. This guy by the name of Wes Watson, and obviously, since when you tell me that anybody is the best at whatever it is that they do in their field, what that tells me is that they're probably going to be very expensive, right? That yeah, if you go to a rehab already, you're paying what? Cheap 50, 60 grand. Let's say even 30. I don't know about you, but I don't have $30,000. At least not. I don't actually for anything. I don't have $30,000 just sitting there so that I can say, you know what, I want to go take a 4 month vacation and clean out. I don't have that. And I'm assuming the place that Chet Hanks went to is not $30,000. It's probably $200,000, $300,000 a month. But what Chet was saying is Wes Watson, he works in this philosophy that you can't think yourself into a positive action. And because you can't think yourself into a positive action, you can't think your way out of a situation. In my case, that would apply to my alcoholism. And Chet decided, I guess he was being interviewed because he's starting this podcast. He doesn't know what he's going to call it yet. Um, I'm drinking LaCroix or LaCroix or whatever. I don't speak French, but that's the flavor of this week because it was cheap. So he's going to start this program because he wants to help people, right? Who doesn't? Which is basically what I'm trying to do. So he wants to help people to he wants to coach them. He wants to be a life coach since he's got so much experience now after he went on this bender for a couple of years. And after he went on a 4 to 5 month retreat. And of course, because he wants to help people, he's releasing a program that he's come up with. But in order for you to get the help, you got to pay him because that's what they're there for, right? They're there to make money. So you're telling me that you want to help people with the condition that they pay you for it. And I get it. But the people that really need help, the people like you, the people like me that have multiple jobs, that, they got to have those jobs because they got to feed their roommates who mooch off of them. And by roommates, I mean their kids and their wives. Don't tell them I said that because they'll give me dirty looks. Like one of them is right now while they eat my food. The people like you and me that don't have the money to take off 3 or 4 months, that don't have the luxury to go to a rehab center, we all actually have to think our ways out of those situations. We actually have to think ourselves into positive action. Meaning, we have to come to a place, we have to find our rock bottom by ourselves and tell ourselves either I quit now and fix this, or I'm going to lose everything I have. The problem is that when we do that, since we don't have tens of thousands of dollars put away to take that time off and spend it with our thoughts, we have to continue to go to work while battling our addictions. And again, in this case for me, it was alcohol, right? I have to go to work every day. And I had to battle those demons. For me, it wasn't that hard. I don't know what it is about me. I have this thing to where when something is no longer fun, I can just leave it. And that's what I did with alcohol. Right? It was just, I got to a point where I was neglecting my family too much. And I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And it wasn't fun. I was starting to have to drink because I needed to drink, not because I wanted to drink. But I didn't have a choice as to whether or not I could go to work. I could take the time off of work and try to take care of that. I had to go to work and take care of it at the same time. So for somebody that makes the ridiculous amount of money that he makes, to sit there and with a straight face say something like you can't think yourself into a positive situation, it's ridiculous. You're asking me to pay you so that you can put me down, basically, for what I'm trying to do. And that, I mean, obviously he's going to make the money that he's going to make because he's going to, most of his clientele is going to be the Hollywood community, right? And they're all going to tell them, and they're all going to listen to him, and they're going to tell him how fortunate they feel that somebody finally understands what they're going through, that somebody is finally, saying things that they've never heard. But again, don't try to don't come out here and tell me that you're about to start this little club that you want us all to be a part of, because that's not what's going to happen, right? That's not everybody can afford to be in your club. Would I want to go to that club? No. I mean, probably, actually, mostly so that I can be like, you're weak. I know construction workers that are battling a meth addiction and two divorces, and they're still out there in 110-degree heat, pretending that everything's okay. But anyway, that's it for Chet. I mean, I wish him the best. Obviously, I hope he stays sober. And I hey, if you got to make your money, if you're gonna make your money, make your money. I don't hate you for making money. I don't hate anybody for making money. I not even jealous. I hope that someday I have it like that where I can just go to my friends that are somewhat rich and powerful, and we can just play it like we were born in the rough streets of whatever he's from. Um. So yeah, I was had a really good weekend. I got to have breakfast with my wife this morning. No kids. That's awesome. Grandma took him to. Grandma took him. We have this thing in Mexico. It's called El Dia de los Reyes, or the Three Wise Men Day. And the tradition is that you put your shoe out with a little letter, and they bring you toys. It's kind of like Santa Claus, right? They bring toys. But yeah, today's the 8th. So I told my mom that's kind of not how it works. But she didn't give a shit. And she told me, it's like, I don't give a shit. They're my grandkids, and I'm going to take them, and I'm going to buy them whatever I want. Go fuck yourself. So I went to fuck myself. um, it was nice. It was nice. It was nice to catch up with my wife and just talk about, just kind of check in and update each other on how we're doing as a couple. We're moving into 15 years of being together next month. So February 8th, it'll be 15 years, and it's been an amazing 15 years. It's been interesting. She's put up with a lot. I think we've both put up with a lot from each other, but we've grown together. We we have this little house that we always talked about when we first got together, and you know, we're so grateful. We're so grateful for this little place. It's like a mansion for us. It's nothing big. It's barely 1,000 square feet. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. But we were living 4 years ago. We actually did 4 years on January 3rd of this year. And 4 years ago, before we moved in here, the four of us, my two kids, my wife and myself, we were living in one bedroom. And I don't mean a one bedroom. I literally mean a 11 by 13 bedroom in a house we couldn't afford in Marin County. And we had bunks for the kids. My eldest slept on top and the baby on the bottom. And I had curtains around the top bunk. So my eldest would feel like they had their own space. And through hard work and perseverance, we were able to get this place. We owe it to Michael Cadet from Cadet Mortgage. He amazing. I call him my dream maker. he got me approved, and he put me on this loan that, he worked out all the numbers so I wouldn't get something that I couldn't afford. He gave me a lot of really good gave me a lot of really good advice. But yeah, we were reflecting on that, and I saw something. I saw something on I think it was Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, but it was basically this guy was he said, when I was a kid I wanted to be rich. Now I'm an adult, and I still don't consider myself rich, but I have more money than I've ever had in my life. That resonated with me in the aspect that I I dreamt of having a house. I always wanted to have my own house because I saw it in the movies, and I knew people who lived in a house, and I always lived in an apartment when I was here. I had a house in Mexico when I was growing up in Mexico, but here I always lived in apartments, little apartments, upstairs apartments. So I always told myself, someday I'm gonna have a house. Someday I'm gonna have my own house. And honestly, someday when I was a kid, I dreamt of being rich. Now that I'm an adult, I'm still not rich, but I have more than I've ever dreamed of. And and I mean that. I always wanted kids. I always wanted to have a house that I could come home and they would greet me at the door after work, and they would love me, and we would make memories together, and I thought I had an idea of what that would be like, but everything I dreamed of and everything I imagined it would be like, it's nothing like that. It is a million times more. And I am so grateful for that. I'm grateful every day. I hug them every day. I kiss them every day. And I try to be the parent that I wanted to have when I was a child. When my kids get old, when they're talking to people, I want them to be able to say that they didn't lack for that. That I don't want them to say my dad never hugged me or he never kissed me. I want him to say the quite opposite. Like, that motherfucker wouldn't leave me alone. He gave me all the love. And that's that my wife is the same way. We both come from broken marriages, and we try to be the half the relationship that we didn't see our parents having. And I think we're not perfect, obviously, but I think we're doing pretty good. Doing a pretty good job. We talk to each other, we communicate, and like this whole new sober life has been eye opening because I don't remember. I really can't remember the last time that I was sober for 3 days. For 3 months. I can't. I started drinking when I was 9 years old. And I guess I never stopped. So I've been drinking for 31 years, and it's been interesting this past 3 months. But as I talk about how much I enjoy hugging my kids and the conversations that I have with my wife, I remember while I was looking for the Damar Hamlin updates, I ran into this tweet, and it's about this 18-year-old, and she was an MMA fighter in the one circuit, and she died. She died last month on December 26th. 18 years old. And her sister released she released a letter. She released a letter of letting people in the media know that her sister had passed away. It was a beautiful letter. I'm not going to read it. You can look for it. I'm sure you'll find it But what got me about this letter was the closing statement. And she said, please give our family grace and respect during this most difficult time. And please check on your loved ones. Keep checking on them. Give them hugs. Tell them how much they mean to you. You just never know. And that got me, because it gives off suicide vibes. And I mean, this kid was 18 years old. She was a champion. She was a phenom in her field. And her sister's right. Love your kids. Hug them. Hug them every day like it's the last time you're going to hug them. Hug your wife. Hug your husband. If you have a wife and a husband, hug them both. Like it's the last time you're ever going to hug them. Like it's the last time you're ever going to kiss them, because you really don't know. But most importantly, talk to your kids. Talk to your kids. Love your kids. If they want to identify as potatoes, then love your potatoes. I love mine. I love my potato to death. I'll burn your house down and anybody else's for my potato. That kid is the single most important person in my life after my wife. And then my Annie. I never thought that I could love anything the way that I love them three. And I thought I would be able to comprehend it, but I don't. But yeah, that got a little sad there, and I'm sorry, but I had to put it out there. I told you guys from the beginning, this is just gonna be, it's a little bit about everything. We're gonna rant, we're gonna feel, we're gonna laugh, or at least I'm gonna laugh. One of the kids is gonna laugh. Someone's gonna fucking laugh at some point. And if you don't laugh, then I'm sorry that your life sucks. And if your life does suck, I really am sorry. But the other thing I want to talk about, I know this young couple, and if you're young or if you're old, doesn't matter really. This is just a general advice, just a general conversation to have with anybody. If you're contemplating getting married or moving in together, this is for you. And if it isn't for you, maybe it's for somebody that you know. I know this young couple that they've been together for, I'm going to say, about 2 years. And, they both still live with their parents, which is awesome. If I had a chance to still live at my mom's and not pay for anything, I would do it in a heartbeat. If my mom called me right now and said, son, you just got to work for your gas, I'll take care of everything else. I would do it. My phone rings right now. I'm picking it up and I'm moving out. But anyway, so she wants to get proposed to, and I think he doesn't want to because he's not ready. And this happens a lot in relationships, and my wife and I have seen it. I think we've all seen it in relationships. Sometimes one of us is ready to move faster than the other, and we end up forcing our partner to do or say something that they're not ready. And when things don't work out, that person ends up resenting us, or if we're the one, the shoes in the other foot, then we end up resenting them. So my advice is this: talk to each other. Be honest with one another. If you want him or her or them, it's 2023. If you want them or him or her to propose, have a conversation with them about what your expectations are about the relationship. Don't force your partner into something they don't want to do. Don't force them into a situation they don't want to be in, because that's not going to drive you closer together. It's just going to drive you further apart. And the same goes for the other partner. If you feel like things are moving a little too fast, have a conversation with your partner. Let them know, hey, it seems like a bigger commitment than I'm ready or willing to do right now. So let's take it down a couple notches. Let's take things a little bit slower. It's always better to communicate about those things. And as I said, my wife and I have seen it. We we know a lot of people that where as I said before, if you didn't catch it, I'm 40, my wife's 34. And we only had 2 kids. But that's because before we started dating, we sat down, we actually went to lunch, we sat down and we put the cards on the table. And she told me, this is what I want out of this relationship, and this is what I don't want. And I told her the same thing. I said, well, this is what I want out of this relationship. This is what I don't want. And one of the things that came up was my alcohol use. And I promised her that I would never become the thing she didn't want. And that's part of the reason why I stopped drinking. It's because I was becoming that thing. I was this close to breaking that promise, to breaking the promise that I promised I would never break. And I'm a man of my word, or at least I like to think that I am. And I told myself, I said, hey, man, you can't break this promise. So I didn't. I picked myself up, and lo and behold, I thought myself into a positive position. I thought myself out of my drinking. And it wasn't hard. I don't miss it. I find it weird that I'm having so much fun being sober because I always thought that I wouldn't have fun being sober. I always thought that I wasn't going to be able to know what to do around people that were drinking. But it's a lot easier than I thought. But anyway, so I digressed. We know a lot of couples that they were having issues. They were having issues, and one of them decided that what was going to make the marriage better would be to have another child. And they end up having another child. And guess what happens? It doesn't fix the issues. In fact, it makes them worse. Who would have thought? But it's the same case, right? If you're trying to force your partner into, into getting engaged, it may not fix anything. And also, you got to have a plan. If you both live with your parents, if neither one of you has any idea of what anything in the real world costs, what's your plan? Is it to move into the other person's parents' house? Have you talked to those people? Because I'm sure they're not thrilled if you were to tell them, hey, I'm going to get engaged here and my fiance is going to move in. That creates a whole nother set of problems. So just talk to each other. That's all I'm saying, Don't go and just buy a pig and show up with it at your house someday without telling your wife.
Don't do it.
That's what I did. But luckily she fell in love with the pig.
I actually hate that thing.
My kid, my teenager, hates the pig that he's supposed to feed, but he doesn't anymore. Because I guess they have a dying feud. But anyway, communication is key. If you're not happy in a relationship, tell your partner. And again, this may not work for everybody, but the more and more of the people that I've spoken to myself, that apparently everybody agrees that communication is a big thing in any relationship. And as I said, I don't have much experience. I only have 15 years of experience. And honestly, the first 4 were a living hell because we didn't know anything about each other. But you know what? We got through it by talking to each other. We have a rule, and we try not to go to bed angry at each other. And we talk everything out at the table, at the dinner table. Well, it's the only table we have, but some people are fortunate enough to have a formal dining room and a kitchen table. We have a kitchen table, and that's also our formal dining room. But that's where we talk everything out. And She always tells me, even if I don't like it, she tells me what she's feeling. She tells me what she's thinking. And I have to sit there and listen to her because those are the rules that we have for each other. And I do the same thing. And sometimes she doesn't like it. And sometimes we'll walk away from one another. But at the end of the day, we'll resolve those issues because that's what's best for us. And the reason we do it at the table is because we want our kids to see us resolving those issues. We want our kids to see what a healthy relationship should be like. Yes, I curse a lot, but I don't curse at her, at least not in a disrespectful way. I could never disrespect her. She is my queen, and I treat her as such. But we do everything in front of our kids so that we can teach them what a healthy relationship should look like or a semi healthy relationship, because that's something that neither one of us saw. So I said, we don't talk about Bruno. Our parents didn't talk to us about anything. They didn't talk to us about sex. Get out of here, sex. The hell is that? They didn't talk to us about relationships. The only talk that my mom ever had with me about a relationship was when I was, I believe I was 15 years old, and I had one of my girlfriends over at the apartment, and we were in my bedroom, and I turned off the light, and she kept walking by, knocking on the door. I don't want that light off. Knock, knock, knock. I don't want that light off. That's the only talk that she gave me. But that was it. The next time that she talked to me was when I told her that my wife was pregnant with her first kid. And she sat me down, and all she said was like, well, what are you going to do now? And that was it. But communication is key. Communication has taken her and I a long way. We have grown so much together, and I love it. She knows now. If she has something that she wants to share with me, I usually ask her, "Do you want me to listen? You want my advice?" It's two choices. You want me to listen? You want my advice? And sometimes she says, "Well, I just want you to shut up and listen." And I try. And other times she's like, "I want both. I want you to listen and I want your advice." And it works. And we always hug, and we always try to kiss like it's the first time we met. And I love her kisses. Not that you guys need to know, but I love her kisses. I love everything about her. Um, yeah, yeah, so yeah, love your kids, love your partner. Don't force your partner into anything they don't want to do or anything they're not ready for. And talk to your kids. You know, I bother mine all the time, and I'm nosy. And my 13-year-old and I take him to school every day, and sometimes that's the only time that we have to be alone, and it's amazing. It's an amazing time. We both really cherish it. Or at least I do. I think he does too, because he has me all to himself, away from his little sister. And even if we don't say anything, it's just that little bit of time that we have together, where he can tell me about his girlfriend, or he can tell me about what's going on in school. We can have a laugh together, and I give him a kiss and tell him I love him every day, because I do. And I'm honest with him, and that's something you got to do. Be honest with your kids. Not all of us were fortunate enough to have both of our parents or have a good relationship with them. So if I can give you any advice about your kids, it's just be the parent that you didn't have. Obviously, if you had awesome parents, don't be a piece of shit, right? Just keep the awesome going on. Um, yeah, just keep the awesome going on, and try to, more than anything, I think we're just all trying to raise good citizens, if not citizens, good human beings, right? People that will take care of this place that we call home. Because everybody always says, "Oh, take care of Mother Earth. You want to leave a good planet for your kids." But what about leaving good kids for the planet? What about that? What about that, Annie?
What about what?
What about leaving good kids for the planet? You think you're going to be a good kid for the planet?
Yes,
Well, how are you a good kid for the planet?
because I do my best in school.
Do you litter? You're a
No.
little litter bug?
No, I'm not a litter bug.
That's good.
Because Miss Pomeroy just had a talk with us about littering on the campus.
Okay. What did she say about littering on the campus?
We can't do it anymore.
Well, you shouldn't have been doing it to begin with.
I wasn't doing it. It was there's different people.
Well, what do you
Did
do when
it.
you see some litter on the floor?
One time I pick up litter from the playground.
Good.
I picked up like 5 pieces at a time.
Good job. Right? It's what we do, right? We always leave the place that we go to. How do we leave it?
Clean.
We leave it the way we found it or better?
Clean.
All right. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to share?
No.
Can I have a kiss?
Yeah.
Love you.
You want to watch the next episode of Bulitama with Cam?
Sure.
Once you're done with this?
Yep. Be happy to join you guys. You know what? I think we're gonna leave it at that. I'm being summoned, but yeah, I thought I had a lot more to say, and I think we can save it for the next episode. I did. I had a lot to say, but again, that that just got me. That thing with Victoria Lee, man, that hit me. Because I'm just thinking about the parents and thinking about obviously what they could be going through. I mean, it's devastating. It's devastating. But yeah, man. Keep on trolling. If you need to talk to somebody, call me. Call the line. Leave me a voicemail. Send me a text. If you need to talk to somebody, send me a text. If you want to have a little conversation with me that we can put into video, I'll put it on the channel for my 2 subscribers, by the way. Shout out. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we can do that. I can be here for you. If you want me to listen, I'll take a minute out of my day to listen to you. If you want some advice, I'll do my best. Everybody needs to talk to somebody. And sometimes talking to a stranger really helps out, just to let it out. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, we all need a little bit of help. We all need a hand up. If you're reaching out or even listening to this, if it makes your day this much better, I think I've done what I'm here for. If it makes you think, if it puts a smile on your face, if it helps you to not have that drink tonight, if it helps you to not use, if it helps you to not have that bump or to pick up that pipe just for tonight, and that's good. I'm glad I can do this for you. And, it's free. It's free. I'll do what I can. But again, love your family. Check on them. Love your friends. Check on them. If you have friends, if you're fortunate enough to have true friends, check on them. Bother them. Make sure they're okay. If you're fortunate enough to have someone in your life that loves you, check on them. Let them know you love them. Let them know you're there. Bother them. Smother them. Not with a pillow, Smother them with love. So anyway, keep on trolling, trolls. Keep on trolling. I'm gonna go watch this program with my kids and my wife because I love them. So until next time.